Welcome to another episode.
Yeah. Back for number 2.
Back for number 2. Got a
Yeah,
little
not
good
get-
feedback on episode number 1.
Yeah.
Made us decide to do another one.
Yeah. Let's see if we can expand. Looking at the stats, we've had a few listeners from across Europe. It's not just UK, so
Yeah.
let's
Speaking
keep it going.
Of Europe, I want to give a shout out to Jacques out of Luxembourg, man. He's been battling some health issues, and it was quite scary moment. But I guess he got some results today. No cancer, no tumors.
Yeah.
So he said I talked to him earlier. He said he's got a long recovery, but hey, at least he's not going to die.
Yeah, it was a plus.
So at least he's still got a sense of humor.
Yeah.
So, Jacques, if you're hearing this, man, hey, we're all wishing you well and a speedy recovery, man.
I want to see him on the boards as soon as possible.
Hey, I told him now that I could probably kick his ass now.
He'd probably still kick mine though.
No, he'd probably still kick mine too. So, but hey, we'll see.
Yeah.
All right. So, what do you want to jump into, man?
Oh, since the last one we've had another Open, ACL. So
that was a week ago.
Yeah, week ago.
In Des Moines, Iowa.
Yeah.
Ryan Trader, man,
done good.
Kid was on fire.
Yeah.
Winning doubles and singles.
Yeah. 15-0 on the weekend.
Yeah. And ironically, though, he did just 5th in juniors. So.
Yeah.
But hey, you never know.
Yeah. So I'll say 15-0 on the weekend. Over the weekend, 10.08 PPR. So, kid's doing great.
Yeah.
And he's adjusting well to the stepper. So, now with the new rule in place,
yeah,
able to step over the line. And
a lot of people thought it might affect his throw, but I watched a lot on the weekend, and he seemed like it came natural to him again.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I'm sure when the rules came out couple months ago, he was probably practicing quite a bit. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it didn't seem to affect him. It seemed like, he just got on with it. Now in singles, though, he almost had to face his brother.
Yeah.
In the finals, Mason. But he didn't. He came up a little short against Noah. But of course, then Ryan had to go avenge his brother's loss, and did it pretty handily.
And doubles with Jay Rubin. Good to see Jay Rubin back after some time away.
Yeah, for sure. No, he looked good too.
Yeah, don't seem to have missed a beat.
No, he threw really, really well.
Yeah.
We discussed on the first episode if Devin Harbaugh could repeat. And you know what? Hey, I'm telling you, for a minute, man, I thought he was going to.
Yeah.
He was looking good, and then he stumbled a bit. But I don't think, to be perfectly honest, man, I don't know if anybody was beating Ryan on that day. On that particular day, that particular tournament. Great. I don't know if anybody was beating Ryan. Because unless you can remember, I can't remember a match that was even that close. Like, when I say close, I mean like where you really thought there's a chance he's going to get beat in this match. I'm not talking close like, at one point the score was 10-7, 12-10. I mean like where you thought, hey, this kid could get beat this match. I don't remember seeing one.
No. He was a lock from early on in the.
I think so.
Yeah. And the seniors as well. Jeff Reynolds.
Yeah, Jeff.
Just airmail on fire all weekend.
Yeah, I mean that dude was hitting air mails like it was going out of style.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I happened to watch one of his matches when he had to play Jimmy Humans.
Yeah.
And man, Jimmy, the thing is Jimmy was up, and I thought Jimmy had the match, and then all of a sudden, man, Jeff he kind of stopped missing.
Yeah.
And the ones he did, when he missed once or twice, Jimmy couldn't capitalize on it, and Jeff did. And then I watched him play some other ones and just kind of followed along with the results and all that. But yeah, I mean, he was on fire, man. So he ended up fifth? Fifth overall.
Fifth overall in singles, yeah, and one senior,
singles.
yeah.
So I mean, it might be Jeff's year. It might be a
get that top 50 finally.
Yeah. He may crack into that top 50 this year.
Well, throws like that, it's gonna happen.
Yeah. And then I mean, we'd be remiss to not mention the ladies.
Yep.
Straight out the gate.
Yep. Cam Belvin getting a double dip on Deb Odom in the final.
Yeah.
I think one of the highlights of the ladies tournament was the Deb Odom game where she against Caitlin. Yeah, 40 plus rounds, both throwing well into the tens.
I mean, it was
crazy consistent level.
And I get it. I'm no expert at this, and it's easy for me to sit here and watch and say this, that, and the other. But when you watch Deborah Odom throw, it works for her, but it just kind of looks. It doesn't look like she's going to hit in the tens over 40 rounds, if that makes sense. It's like when we talked about Sean Farrell, man, like his throw, because he's a lefty and he throws from the center of his body. It just doesn't look like it should work, but it does.
Yeah.
And any one of them would kill us. So I know it's easy for us to say, for me to sit here and say this, but yeah, it just didn't look like, but it didn't look like it would work. But man, I sat there and watched all 40 plus rounds. It was such a good match. I think they said it was like, I want to say like 50 minutes.
Yeah.
It was like 50
something. It was a long game, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you wait longer than that in between games.
Yeah, I had a 2-hour wait last tournament, so yeah.
And I know you're not used to that because you're not used to winning and having to wait.
Yeah, I'm not used to getting a good seed in following rounders.
Exactly. Yeah, it was a good open overall for sure. And I mean, if the first two opens are any inclination of how the rest of the season is going to go, or the rest of the ACL year is going to go, man, we're in for some really good matches and a phenomenal world championship.
Yeah,
I mean, it was phenomenal.
It was good to see this open. There's not a round limited one like the first one. So mixing them up.
Yeah, some of them are going to be round limited, some are not. The Canadian Open this weekend, the first Canadian Open of the year in Calgary was this weekend, and they played. Some of theirs were round limited.
Yeah,
their pro singles and stuff. Now, when they got to the open singles, it was not round limited, but pro singles was definitely round limited, and pro doubles, I believe, was round limited too. But you think, man, and I know nobody likes to hear it, and you kind of want to play it all the way out, but you get so many people in there, and you get some of these people like Deborah and Caitlin that are that good, and they're going to throw 40-plus rounds. Can you imagine if even if a third of the field is throwing 40-plus rounds and it's taking them almost an hour to play a match?
Yeah.
I mean, you'd be there all day.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, even with round limitation, if you remember, and I get it, they started late in the first Open because it was media day. They had to adjust all that and they had to put everything into a couple of days. But I mean, they were playing the finals, or they got down to the final four, and it was almost 2 a.m. for them. And they'd all started at like 8 the morning before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think sometimes round limitations probably is a necessity.
Yeah.
And I know that I having listened to around the ACL with Wally, Mish, and Trey, I know they've talked about it a number of times, and because there's always someone bringing it up. And if you watch any of the Opens, when Trey and Misha are on the or on the broadcast, or if it's Wally and Misha on the broadcast, someone always brings it up, and they all want to complain about it and whatever. And if you listen to them, though, they always give the explanation they're giving is one that it makes sense, man.
Yeah.
You got to limit things, or it can just get out of control and take off and take too long. But, yeah, I don't know. It's just going to be. I think it's going to be a really interesting year. I watched a lot of the Canadian Open this weekend, and Logan Chamberlain ended up winning open singles.
Yeah.
And he looked good he looked good all weekend. There were a couple of hiccups here and there, but he looked pretty good all weekend. Trey Birchfield got second. He had to battle back to the losers bracket. I think he lost his first or second match of bracket play and had to battle back. But they both look good, and they're always going to be tough to beat and put on a good showing. But yeah, even when Logan made, the few mistakes he made here and there, and I say mistakes because, I'm armchairing it. But when he did, he came back and capitalized. He'd hit, an airmail drag for 9 or, whatever. I watched him do it like 2 or 3 times. It was nuts. And then let's see, who else played? Sean Farrell went out there and played. Didn't have his best performance. I'll tell you, and I didn't know this about him, but he's an old school guy. Apparently, like he was like kind of one of the founding fathers, so to speak, of Canadian cornhole was Bobby Spurry, man.
Yeah.
And that dude, I mean, I watched him play doubles with Brandon Brown, and I chat with Brandon a lot, and it was crazy because one of the matches I got to see, and this was early in the weekend before I really got to see Bobby play more. He just didn't look like it was at the caliber, and I didn't know much about him in and of itself, but he just didn't look like he was at this caliber. And then all of a sudden, just like that, it's totally different. And he's like, bang, 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 bang. And I'm like, all right, man, I was wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good Open. I think the Canadian Open was good. Let's see who. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird when they're, we don't have a ton of local stuff going on.
Yeah. And talking local, what, you had anything going on this week? Your Cornwall life?
Yeah, man. Actually, so our club founder, Matt Richardson, which everybody out here in Europe knows. I mean, he's a 6'5" giant. So we decided not too long ago that we were going to do a Richardson Cup, and we're going to do it probably once a quarter, and we named the cup after him. So tomorrow night, Tuesday night, we got our singles tournament to win the Richardson Cup.
Yeah. Nice.
So if I do win it, you best believe in 2 weeks when we film episode number 3, I'm going to be drinking beer out of
it. Too right.
I mean, it may be the only cup I win, but again, I say that when we got some solid dudes in our club that, may just wax my ass. Who knows?
Yeah.
Ollie may beat me again. You never know.
Yeah. Anybody can beat anybody on the day.
That is a fact.
Yeah.
Except for maybe my daughter. I don't know if she's quite there yet.
Oh, my son's beaten me, but he was thrown from 2 feet. So that was only
everybody's beating you. I'm just kidding. So yeah. And then of course, as we all know, we got in 3 weeks' time. We have the UK
Qualifier 2.
UKCL Qualifier 2 in Ashby again.
Yeah.
Looks like
the night before.
We might have to do back-to-back weeks for a podcast then.
Yeah. Yeah, why not?
We might have to go live during the event and go around getting some interviews from people.
Try and give the people what they want.
Yes.
They want more Graham and Josh. I'll give it to them.
Probably more of them and less of us.
Yeah. Yeah, and the fun starts on the Saturday night with a blind draw, just for fun first, and then the main qualifier on the Sunday.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll go down on Saturday and check that out, and
hopefully not get drawn as partners in the blind draw.
Hey man, if we get drawn as partners, we get drawn as partners, and then we just win. Yeah. Hopefully, maybe.
Yeah.
But
somebody's got to win it.
Hey, if we do get drawn, you cannot wear that ugly ass jersey, dude. Christ Almighty. Terrible.
Hey, did all right last weekend. The weekend.
Yeah, my team got a win too, but of course they played the Cowboys, so.
Yeah, but I was rooting for your team then.
I know you were. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah. For those the commanders, I need to slip up.
All right, man. You want to get into the nitty gritty?
Yeah.
All right.
Right. Points
for the UKCL.
Yeah. After
the
first one, we've had the standings come out. It's been refreshed now, so it's no longer a 2-year rolling thing. So certain things stood out now that we're able to see, like starting from afresh. Still under the same point system from when it first started,
right?
But the format's different to how it first started. So
because we were on the 2-year rolling, and now we're not.
Yeah.
Now, the pros and cons to that, in my opinion, are I was never a fan of the 2-year rolling because I think you start afresh every season.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you had people that came in towards like latecomers for last season that were smoking people.
Yeah.
That didn't make it into the top 16 because we us OG guys already had a full year ahead of them.
Yeah, I wouldn't have finished top 16 last season.
Had we went to a single season point system, I wouldn't have made top 16 last year. I wouldn't have made the national championship. You wouldn't have either, right?
No, definitely not.
So, with that being said, though, I was an advocate of going to a single season point system.
Yeah.
And I still am. However, the point system we're using, in my belief, it needs some tweaking, because when you're talking about 4 events leading up to national championship, you miss one event, man, you're out. Like, you might be out.
Yeah. I
finished 5th, and like, I get it. You got to reward first, second, and third. You have to reward them.
Yeah, definitely.
I understand that. And they were rewarded handsomely. But myself and JC tied for 5th. And it's nothing against Jared or Charlie, but we knocked them out of the tournament. But because the way this point structure is, they got the exact same amount of points as us. Now, that in and of itself is not a problem if there's 10, 15 events.
Yeah.
But when there's only 4 events, we got, 5, 6, 7, and 8 all got the same amount of points. Fine. Top 8. Hold my hands up. That's fine. Whatever. But I'm pretty sure we were only a couple hundred points better than
25th.
Yeah, 25th. We didn't win a single match.
So 25th goes 0-2 in bracket and was out. 25th. Yeah. Assuming you had a decent rounder so that you got a bye.
Yeah, you tied for 17 through 30. What was it? 17 through 32.
Yeah, got 400 points. Yeah.
So, with that being said, if I end up not being able to make an event, man, those guys that were in the bottom 32, it only takes them one more 30, bottom 32 again, and they've surpassed me and knocked me down.
Yeah, they only need to show up.
30, so what? 20-something people are going to jump ahead of me.
Yeah.
In points for having not won a bracket match. It's just a little tough, and I know, and this is no slight on the commission, them guys. It's really not, man. We're not here to badmouth anybody, but we definitely believe that there's got to be a fair way. Is that a good term to say?
Yeah. Especially when there's implications like the national championships and come for the ACL World Cup. I believe the committee is going to partly use UKCL rankings for determining the team. So it has implications further beyond just UKCL.
But it's a tough one, man.
Yeah. I mean, there's hypothetical situations where, assuming the points, because based on the number of entries, how many points you get. So, basing off the first qualifier, assuming we have the same number of entries every qualifier and the UK
Open. Was that? 45, yeah?
45, yeah. So, based on that, you can have one player finishes 9th, all 4 qualifying tournaments. They'll finish the season on 1,840 points, getting 460 points for their 9th place finish. And I believe that's like 3 bracket wins, I think it averages out at.
Yeah.
But you could have another player, he gets 3 tied 17ths, which is going 0-2, so no bracket wins for 3 events, 400 points apiece, and then they have one good showing. They can win 4 games, get a tied 7th for the 695 points, and they've overtaken the other guy who's been consistently there 4 nights, and they've not won for 3 tournaments. They've got in, not won again, and they've had one good tournament, and they surpass him in the rankings.
Now,
so,
but that's
I know I'm talking hypotheticals, but
yeah, but it makes sense. And
yeah,
my thing is that this scenario is based on the fact that we have 4 events before the national championship, 3 qualifiers and an open.
Yeah.
If we were playing 10 events, that scenario would never happen.
Yeah. It evens itself out more over more events, yeah, but given the short season.
You couldn't go 0-2 in bracket for 9 events, and then, even if you were in the top 3, you're not going to overtake someone that's getting in the top 8 every tournament. But when you're only doing 4 events, that matters.
Yeah.
Now, again, they're running it. It's not my league.
Yeah.
But I think, and obviously we started this season, so we're lying in the bed that's been made.
Yeah.
But I think if you're going to have 4, 5 events, maybe, that we can use the same scoring model, just modify it to be more friendly for a 5 event season or a 4 event season, rather than, because they're taking it. Okay, so they're taking it from another league.
Yeah.
I'm pretty positive, if I remember correctly, this scoring model was taken from another league.
Yeah. And to be fair, the format was different back then when it started. We weren't running a double elimination tournament back then when it first started with this model.
Yeah,
because there was a lot less of us, so we had a different model.
Yeah.
Because to get us more games.
But at that point too, I don't think anybody really cared.
Yeah.
Because our championship that year was still just the same. 10 up? Like, I know the first tournament had 8 of us, but I think at the end of the year when we did our championship, there was still only like 10 of us. So it didn't matter. So they've taken the scoring model from another league or another organization or whatever. And the thing is, though, they're playing events almost every weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, there might be 40 or 50 events that you can earn points at.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, let's say there's 14 events in ACL Europe. Now, you may not make all 14, but if you have some good showings in the ones you do make, you can jump up in them rankings because it gets capped out.
Yeah.
So if it's a tier 2 event, no matter how many tier 2 events you play in, you can really just cap out your points. You don't get to keep winning. Let's say, for example, easy math, it's 400 points for a win on a tier 2. If you win 6 tier 2 events, that doesn't mean you get, 2,400 points. You still cap out at, however many points, I think, and it may be just 400.
Yeah.
So, but if you do top 10 on those 4 events, you might get your 400 as well eventually. So it's kind of one of those things, like, we're either going to have to, I don't know. It's when you're talking longevity over a full season and playing in a number of events, it's different than it is if you're just doing 4 events. So I don't know the answer, and I know that sounds hypocritical of me to sit on here and essentially badmouth, and I'm really not badmouthing it, but to kind of criticize it and not have a solution.
But we'll welcome the guys on if they want to talk about it.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Any of you guys out there, anybody in the UK, or any guys that come over from Europe and have played in any of our tournaments, if any of you guys want to come on and discuss solutions or any of it, please, by all means, let us know, and we'll get you in on the next podcast, man.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, if we're trying to grow the community and we're trying to grow the sport to where we can compete, and I don't mean like our little league here in the UK is going to compete with any of the big leagues. That's not what I mean. What I mean is if we want to compete and be better, to know that we can go to another tournament and have a good showing, then all this stuff needs to be discussed, and we all need to have input and try to grow and make the sport better, or
that's what we want to do. We just want to make the sport better, don't we? We want to see it grow.
For sure.
Yeah. Found a hobby I like. I don't want it to go away anytime soon.
Right. I just think, and again, the scoring model itself is probably okay. We just need to. It just needs to be tweaked, I think.
Yeah.
To accommodate a season.
Yeah. Yeah, just reward more the wins.
Yeah, I definitely think there needs to be a bigger disparity between, like, disparity is probably not the right word to use in this sentence, but there needs to be a bigger gap, I think, between top 8 and bottom 37.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
definitely.
Because the gap, and here's the big thing. You think about it like this: the gap between first, second, third to 5th through 8th is fairly substantial, and a lot more than it was for top 8 to the bottom half of the bracket. Like, I tied for 5th, 4 spots off of 1st, and there were twice as many. No, shoot, hold on. I'm pretty positive. Give me just a second. If you got anything to say, keep talking. Because I want to look this up. I did it the other day, and now I can't remember because I don't know. I'm an idiot, and I drink beer and stuff.
What we do. But we drink beer. Drink beer and throw bags. Well, I'm on the hot chocolate tonight.
All right, yeah. So tied for 17 got 400 points. Tied for 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, 695. So 295 points separates us from people that didn't win a single match in bracket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you won how many games?
6.
Yeah.
Now, just from 4th place to 5th place is 455 points.
Yeah.
4th and 3rd. So 455 points. And then 600, almost 600 between us and 2nd, and almost 700 between us and, no, sorry, it is more than, no, 695. So double my points for 2nd, and then 795 to 1st.
Yeah.
So 4 spots separate us. But guys that were down at the bottom, let's see. So 150 points for the lowest performers.
Yeah, that'd be the going 0-2.
There's still more points that separate me from what, third or fourth?
Yeah.
455. That's what separates.
That's one win as well.
I'm the same distance from third as I am to dead last.
Yeah. And that was one win difference for you. Like, get more points is one win, wasn't it?
Sorry, I guess it's almost as bad. It's what, 545 points?
Yeah.
And then 455. But I mean, either way, and it's nothing against some guys. That's not what I'm saying, man. I had tournaments like that. I had tournaments like that last season.
Yeah.
I mean, I went 3-1 in a couple tournaments, 2-2 or 3-1 in rounders, and then go 0-2 in the bracket. Like, I'm not saying anything about those guys. But when you get 150 points for, you may not even won a match on the day. You might have been 0-6.
Yeah.
Right? You might have been 0-6, and you got 150 points. I got tied for fifth, and I only made 550 points more than you.
Yeah.
Sorry, 545 points more than you. And I'm almost that many down from third place. Now, on a long season, 10, 15, 20 tournaments, that probably isn't going to matter.
Yeah.
It's probably not going to matter. But on 4 tournaments, that matters, because if I miss, let's say I had to miss next tournament, yeah? Them dudes are going to catch me. They ain't even got to win a match, and they're all not like.
They just need to show up.
Yeah. And even so, you do okay in rounders, you know, and then you're in the top, 32. One more time, and you surpass me, and that's not even winning a bracket match.
Yeah.
And I say I'm using myself as an example because I'm the one talking about it, but that could be any of these guys. And you're right. I don't get to play for Team GB.
Yeah.
But definitely matter for a Charlie.
Yeah.
A JC.
Me, I want to try and make it a third year representing.
You know?
But things like that could be the difference maker for some of us.
And then, or Tony. Tony was on Team GB.
Yeah.
If something happened and he couldn't make it. So I don't, it's a weird one. I just think I think some type of revamp is eventually going to have to happen.
Yeah.
Because and we'll know more throughout the season. And to be fair, some of your guys are just going to constantly be in the top 3-4 people.
Yeah, there's always got to be the same names, always in the top 8 anyway.
You think so? You would think so, but again, hey man, I've been known to poop the bed real bad. So I don't know. It's tough, and it's not to take. And again, like I said, I'm not trying to take anything away from what they're doing. I mean, if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have a league right now.
Yeah.
So I am appreciative of that. I just think, you know.
Yeah. Well, they picked up. It's still learning for them, I suppose. So, say we're happy to have anybody on who wants to speak about it, offer up opinions, solutions.
How many matches did you win on that day? Bracket.
3. So I lost my first.
You went 3-2 on bracket.
Yeah. So I lost my first game, straight into losers bracket, won my next 3. And then I lost to Jeff, who I scored the same amount of points as. And he'd eliminated me.
And I'm going to go with at least. Well, I don't know. Tied for 17th had to have won at least one match, right?
No. So I'm sure she won't mind us using her as an example because she's a good friend. Flo. She didn't win the bracket game. She had good rounders, and then she went 0-2 in bracket, tied for 17th.
Okay.
Same as my club mate Danny. Had good showing in rounders, 0-2 bracket, tied 17th.
Yeah. So Richard McDonald, Nick Pettit, Dale, all them guys went 0-2 in bracket. Now, because Ian went tied for 17th, and I know he won a bracket match, didn't he? Or did he win rounders and no bracket matches?
Don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah, I can go look it up.
But some of them would have won a game, I suppose. It depends where in the bracket you win it.
Yeah, but my point is that means you would have put at least 2 of those guys out.
Yeah.
I would assume.
Yeah.
At least 1, if not 2. Yet you got 60 more points than them.
Yeah, at least 2. At least 2, yeah, because I won 3 losers bracket games, yeah. So I eliminated 3 people. One of them might have finished it in the tied 33rd thing. I don't know, but yeah.
But again, hands up. I understand that this is a point system that's tried and true, and we got it from another league and all that. But I think based on how many events the other league plays with that point system, it works.
Yeah.
But they're also, it's also playing, those leagues that this point system was taken from, man, their smallest tournament may have 45, 50 people in it. The next tournament may have 200 people in it.
Yeah.
So it ends up mattering. And like I said, again, because we only play 4 events, I think that's kind of difficult to use the
model. Yeah.
But I also don't know much, so.
So try to move on to something cheerier.
Yeah, I mean, I want to. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have much else to talk about, I guess.
Yeah. This week you got a Richardson Cup to look forward to. Just
What
practice.
do you guys got going on at your club this week?
Nothing for our club this week. I think next couple nights next Friday. So we're making the drive up to Manchester after work Friday night. First time in a while I can make a club night, so I'm looking through throwing bags with the guys.
And you said that's not this weekend, that's next weekend?
Yeah, that's next Friday, yeah. But it'll just be same again, just garden, Cornwall, weather permitting.
Yeah. And we're getting into that weather where it doesn't permit very often.
Yeah. I've just set the boards at one end, just so they're under the shelter, so the boards will get wet, and then I'll just go stand in the rain at the other end of the garden.
Yeah.
Got some stuff I'm trying to work out, so some shots I want to try and improve on, so trying to get the practice and the reps in with that. I know I like my air mails, but I'm trying to work on my roll shot.
Yeah, I'd like to work on a roll shot for sure.
Yeah. I probably hit one in about 60, so I'd like that to go up.
Well, that's one better than I'm hitting.
Just my airmails are too inconsistent at the minute, unfortunately. I'll have some games where I can't miss them, and then I'll have other games where I can't hit them. So I'd rather go for the shot that's going to still score me points if it stays on the board.
Yeah.
Oh, I know we all love that airmail highlight reel shot, but
yeah, I've decided, man. I having hit one of those airmail highlight reel shots, I still like winning more than I like that.
Yeah, it's only downhill from there after you hit that shot, anyway.
What's that?
It's downhill from there after you hit that highlight reel shot on the court, on the feature court. It's downhill from there.
Oh, of course it is, because I thought I had.
Remember me?
And then I played John Steins and I missed 2 of them. So
yeah. I had my one highlight reel shot back in season 1 feature court, and that's where I peaked.
Yeah,
it's been down. Yeah. Downhill from there.
Yeah, and it hadn't worked out so well for you against me since then.
No.
Hey, we're gonna have all right. Next podcast, we gotta get that clip and we gotta play it for the people that don't know.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to play that clip because we talk about it quite often.
But it's the only thing I have over you. You've waxed me like the lot. I don't know how many times we played since then. But I think the closest I've got was probably nationals in the rounders. But even then, you still beat me by a good few points.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I was close to winning the match. I just had the lead a little bit for a stage.
Yeah, and I'm bad about that. I'm bad about getting a slow start and getting up a big lead. But yeah, we'll have to find that highlight so we can show everybody.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, well, I guess if anything comes up in the next week, we can pull out another episode. But if not,
we'll try to get some on, and if not, if anybody just wants to come on and drink some beers and talk some cornhole, you have to provide your own beers, drink them at home. But yeah, we'll do it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I guess until next time.
Yeah.
I'm Josh.
I'm Graham. Remember,
just board it.
Yeah. Peace.
See you, bud.
See you.